Hello YouTube modelers, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank all my viewers and subscribers for tuning in. So this is going to be a mixture of a past build revisit and also a mail call. I received a surprise email from my buddy John over at Mighty JJK Models. He provided me with a tracking number of a package. I received the package today. I have a feeling I know what it is. It's possibly a tool to help me in fabrication, but just want to share this moment with everyone. So let me open up the package and we'll open it together. Okay, so the package is from Micromark. I believe they make precision instruments for small scale models, for hence the term micro. So let's see what it is. Ooh, bunch of nice stuff, advertisements. Oop, here we go. Wood handle for ultrafine saw. Okay, this is for sawing stuff. Little pieces of styrene. What is this? Extra long micro miter box. Okay. So it looks like something to be used to make precision cuts, because I created a part for him for his M1 Abrams, and I basically just used whatever tools I had around, which was a modeling knife, tweezers, and sprue cutters. I don't even buy that evergreen, so I'm glad that I got this. This is a welcome addition to my toolbox. So now I can create more precision and better cuts if I have to fabricate pieces for my models. So thank you, John, for the surprise package and a welcome tool to my somewhat limited and budgeted tool chest. So I'm looking forward to using these as soon as possible, because I really like these cuts. It seems like you can put the blade in there and you can get nice clean cuts. So thanks a lot, John. Very unexpected, but very much appreciated for these tools. And everyone have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll be back with the kit revisit. Alright viewers, so here we are at the kit revisit of a past build of mine. It is the King Tiger, or Panzerkampfwagen 6. Konigs Tiger. So obviously it's a Tamiya, because at that time I only built exclusively Tamiya tanks. So I built this probably late 80s, early 90s, and it's very rare that I actually kept the box, because usually I do dispose of the box. I kind of regret throwing out the M1 Abrams tank box, because I would have liked to have that current day. And I realized that my last tank video was a little bit long because I was so enthusiastic about showing off that tank. So this one I'll try to make it very short and abbreviated so not everyone falls asleep. So it is a remote control system, so it will have wires. So here it is. This is the King Tiger 2, which is basically the very last variant of the King Tiger, pretty much at the end of the war. Great armor, great gun, but unfortunately the engine was underpowered because they used the same Maybach motor as the Panther medium tank. So heavier tank using a lighter engine made for a medium tank. Very underpowered, very slow, and obviously tanks back then were made by prisoners or gypsies, so no one really cared about the quality. But anyway, here is the remote control. Takes 4 C-size batteries, which we already have on it. I think I show you guys all my motorized tanks first, because now that I have it up and running, before we encounter any more problems. The problem with this tank was the electric motors. They have a plastic gear on it, those plastic gears split very easily, so I had to replace it. And then the gearbox was fine on this one, but usually if it's motorized, you usually have to replace the plastic gears, and then sometimes you have to tune up or lubricate the gearbox. But in this case, gearbox was fine, but the electric motor did have to have the plastic gear replaced. I'll look into getting brass gears in the future. But because it's wired, an additional problem which happened with the M1 as well is this joystick inside are brass contacts that connect the electrical connection. So when you move these, the brass contacts scrape or connect with other contacts that connect to the battery into the motor. So depending on which way the current moves, it will determine whether the tank is moving forward or backwards. So inside the joystick, the part that holds the brass contacts, over time they do get brittle and crack, and because they're stressed, they start to bend. So I basically had to crazy glue it back and then had to readjust the brass contacts so they make good contact. So now it works. So let me take off the turret, show you guys the inside before we turn it on. Okay, so these upper hulls are made to be removed very easily. It's basically just like a little snap hole. You see the hole in the back. There's a little pin that it connects to. Well, anyway, it comes out very easily, and then the front, it just slides into this guide. So basically, it's a Caterpillar system. Same thing like the M1 Abrams, just without the turret control. So you have the gearbox, and these were the plastic gears I was talking about that always cracks over time. We're talking about like 10 years or whatever. They get brittle. But the electric motors were fine. And of course, there's really no good detail inside the turret. I just painted it gray. There is a gun breech. But I didn't really do much. I didn't paint it. I just painted it black where the shells go in, the action or receiver or whatever you call it. So I believe that's a MG34. Painted the Commander. Back then I basically just had flesh tone, so they're very plain looking. Sometimes when I run out of flesh tone, I use white, gray, so sometimes they look like ghosts, but did not shadow, did not texture or anything like that, did not dirty up his cheek. But one thing I always did was I used a toothpick to dot their eyeballs, so their eyeballs are always big and round. Sometimes their uniform's supposed to be flat black, but I always use whatever was around, and in this case it was semi-gloss black, so their uniforms are kind of sharp. I did do the red piping, and instead of shiny chrome I used dull gray for the iron cross and some of the metals. Of course he has the radio headphones and stuff like that, but the red piping and the black uniform is essential for a Panzer tank commander. Back then I was not into accuracy, so sometimes the camo may not have been accurate, but the decals I choose was always the dead head skulls, the SS divisions, because I just thought they looked cool, but sometimes, you know, they may not be historically accurate. The thing with this one is it does come with skirts, so the track will retain, but if you notice the drive sprocket, sometimes it's very easy to jump up or out. So let me piece everything back together and then we'll see it in running condition. Okay, so I pieced everything back together again. Batteries are in. This one, the control is easier to hold in one hand versus the M1 Abrams, because the M1 Abrams was a three-way. This is only a two-way, so it doesn't have turret control, so they were able to put it into this streamline control. So for some reason the right motor, oh hold on, I need to stop it because I didn't install it correctly. Okay, so I adjusted the upper hull. It nestles better because before one was up and one was down. So for some reason the right side, the motor runs a little faster. Either the motor was inconsistent and runs at a higher RPM, or maybe that gearbox or gear train happens to be running more efficiently. So anyway, you can do the soft pivot with only one side that moves and one side that reverses. or you could do a hard pivot. Of course, in real life, the tank would never pivot that fast, but this is a scale model. So let's do both in reverse. And both forward. So that's pretty much it. Let me pause it. Here it is running obstacles. Alright, so the motor was running faster in scale, because if the King Tiger 2 actually ran that fast, they would have won the war. But anyway, the kit itself, pretty easy. Does have the interleaving wheels, which is always interesting to install. It came molded in the yellow color, which I left, and then I just used the stencil method to spray can the light brown and the dark brown, which I go into detail in my F105D build. So if you go and check out that video, I show you how I spray paint the camo using the stencil method. But detail the crewman, the driver or radio figure, did some rust marks. Pretty simple, no interior except for that gun breech that I showed you before. And that's pretty much it. So I'll have stills at the end. But the kit was pretty fun to build. All Tamiya tank kits are easy to build. Let's take a look at the date of the mold. Oh, I think it's on the inside, so I'm not going to take it apart for you guys. But, their boxes don't really have the year in the front. It is in Japanese, the description. It is somehow sold through MRC. I do have the Hunting Tiger and the Panther. Don't have the others. The instructions don't have the year, but this one luckily was in English. Because this part is what's really important. If it came in Japanese, I wouldn't know what to do. It's the coloring of the wire. And then they gave you camo patterns, which I think I kind of loosely followed, and that was it. These are the parts that are under a lot of stress. The ones with the brass contacts connected to the joystick, because they pivot. So they usually crack like right over here. That's where the area of stress is. So this is the last wired or remote control I have. I have one more motorized one, and then the rest are just static display. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'll have stills at the end, and I think this one was a much shorter than the Abrams. Thanks.